This happened when I was very young, somewhere around second or third grade. Most of my memories from that time feel distant now, like old photographs left in the rain, blurred and faded at the edges. But this night never faded. It stayed sharp, clear, almost preserved. No matter how much time passed, my mind never let it soften. It was a school day. I remember that clearly. Rain had been pouring non-stop from the moment I stepped outside after class. The sky was heavy and dark, darker than it should have been for that time of day. The air felt wrong, thick, like something was pressing down on everything, making it harder to breathe. Even then, as a child, I remember feeling uneasy without knowing why. My parents picked me up as usual. They were talking about an event they had to attend that evening. I don't remember the details, only that it was important. Upscale, somewhere far enough away that the drive would take time. They planned to come home later that night. Everything about it felt routine, normal, as the rain worsened, traffic slowed. Streets flooded. The sound of rain against the car grew louder, more violent. By the time we reached home, the storm was relentless. Wind pushed against the house. Rain hammered the windows. My parents exchanged worried glances. They tried to wait it out, but the weather kept getting worse. Eventually, they decided it wasn't safe to drive all the way back later that night. They chose to stay at a friend's house closer to the event instead. I remember the house phone ringing. I remember their voices on the other end, apologizing over and over for leaving me alone. I told them it was okay. I meant it. I was excited. Before hanging up, my mom gave me instructions. Lock all the doors. Check every window. Close the blinds. Leave a light on. Her voice sounded serious. Too serious. At the time, I didn't understand why it mattered so much. I promised I would do everything she said. After the call, I felt free. The house was quiet, empty. I stayed downstairs on the couch, watching television. The storm outside made everything feel dramatic, like the world had narrowed down to just me in the house. I told myself I'd lock everything later. I didn't want to interrupt the show. I didn't want to give up the feeling of being alone. At some point, without realizing it, I fell asleep. When I woke up, the television screen was dark. The house was silent, too silent. The storm was still there, but muted, like it was far away. The air felt cold, not just nighttime cold, something deeper, something that settled into my chest. I pulled the blanket tighter around myself and sat. Oopie, I remembered my mom's instructions. Guilt hit me all at once. I forced myself off the couch and walked through the house, checking the doors and windows. Everything was locked, everything sealed. The blinds were down, the lights were on. That should have comforted me. It didn't. The cold didn't make sense. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe the heater shut off. Maybe the storm affected something. I told myself it was nothing. I went upstairs to my bedroom, hoping sleep would come easily. That's when I truly heard the storm. Rain slammed against my window like something trying to get in. Lightning flashed again and again, illuminating the room in sharp white bursts. Thunder followed, deep and heavy, shaking the walls. I wasn't afraid of storms. I never had been. But that night, the sound felt different. Closer, more aggressive. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening. I worried a tree might fall onto the house. I worried the power would go out. I worried about things I couldn't explain. Eventually, just as my breathing began to slow, I heard something else. A sound that didn't belong. A creaking noise. Slow, uneven, not rhythmic, not like the house settling. The floor was carpeted, thick carpet. It couldn't have been footsteps. I held my breath and listened. The sound stopped, then started again. Louder this time. Closer. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding. Lightning flashed, filling the room with light. Everything looked normal. My desk, my posters, my bait, but my eyes kept drifting toward the closet. I don't know why. The room went dark again, another flash of lightning. The closet door was open, just slightly, barely noticeable. But I knew it had been closed. I always closed it. I never slept with it open. I stared at it, frozen, waiting for another flash, waiting for something to move. Nothing did. I didn't scream. I didn't call for help. My body moved before my mind could catch up. I slid out of bed and walked out of the room as quietly as I could. Every step felt like it took minutes. The hallway stretched longer than it ever had before. I went downstairs and crawled under the dining room table. I pulled my knees to my chest and covered my mouth. That's when I started crying. Silent tears, shaking breaths. I tried to disappear. Time lost meaning. I don't know how long I stayed there. Then I heard footsteps. They came from upstairs, heavy, uneven, wrong. Each step felt deliberate, like whatever it was knew exactly where it was going. The footsteps reached the bottom of the stairs and moved toward the dining room, toward me. I squeezed my eyes shut. I wanted to scream. I couldn't. I felt something drop onto the floor. Metal hitting wood, loud. Final dot, a wrench. I opened my eyes just enough to see them. 2 bare feet, mud-caked, legs covered in cuts and dried blood, yellow-tinted skin. They stood there for a long time, so long I thought my heart would stop. Then the footsteps moved away. The front door opened, closed odd silence. I stayed hidden long. After the sun came up, when morning finally arrived, I crawled out and picked up the wrench. I didn't want my parents to see it. I didn't want to explain. I didn't want to remember. That night changed me. I slept with a nightlight for years. I checked my closet every night. I never liked storms again. Years later, when I was 15, another storm brought it all back. Rain kept me awake. My thoughts wouldn't stop racing. After midnight, I decided to go for a walk. The park near my house was empty. The rain soaked my clothes. It felt familiar. Too familiar. On my way home, I saw someone lying face down in the street. I thought they were hurt. When I got closer, a screech echoed through the trees. High, inhuman. I turned back. The person was sitting upright, staring at me. They stood, they ran. He screamed that he'd kill me. I ran into the woods. I hid. I didn't breathe. I made it home by luck alone. That sound never left me. I'm 29 now. Camping became my escape. Being alone felt safer than being around people. A few months ago, while camping alone, a man took my photo without permission. That night, footsteps circled my tent when I stepped outside. He stood there, holding an axe. I warned him. I fired a shot. He dropped the axe. I ran. What scares me most is what he said about his friend. Looking back, these moments feel connected. Isolation, vulnerability. The dark is never empty.